and you're listening to the All Burgundy and Gold Everything with the urban sports scene on Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340, Hopewell, Virginia. Wole, Ray, and more, your host. As you can see, Ray is here. All right, we're joined by my guy Doug, host of the Big Doug Show, the Big Douglas Show, should I say? What's going on, Doug? Tell our listeners.
Thank you guys for having me. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Tell our listeners about the platforms in which the Big Douglas Show comes on.
Well, we're anywhere that you can get your podcast. We're on YouTube now, Twitter at Big Doug Show. It is a little confusing. It is the Big Douglas Show. My mama loves Douglas, so I figure I'd do that. But Big Doug to everybody else. So,
Thanks for joining us, man.
Big Doug, we appreciate you, man. Hey, I like to give Mo some practice in hosting the Ray. You know what I'm saying? This is he's my African brother. Therefore, I just throw him in there so we can do the darn thing.
You did kind of spring it up on him at the last minute, though.
No, it's on the outline. What you mean on the last minute? It's on there.
Oh.
y'all are so professional.
I got the outline this small.
Oh yeah, we got outlines. I'm real upbeat with it. So
yeah,
I do.
Doug,
that.
we got critiqued one time. Buffalo Wild Wings. We had a meetup. And we were told, listen, you got to organize your show. Put it that way.
Told us.
You have to be prepared. You can't not remember things. If you don't know, don't say it.
Exactly. This is when we had aspirations to be on the radio. You know what I mean? My man, we won't put Chuck. I'll call the individual Chuck. and Chuck said that we have to be more prepared. We can't go off the cuff. Have some type of structure. So we try to provide some structure.
Some of the best rappers are freestylers, though.
Real talk. I know. Sometimes some of our shows are good when we kind of go off the cuff. Right, Ray?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. It's just there for a template.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Go Errrything with the Urban Sports Scene. Also tweet us at Urban Sports Scene and hit us up on our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. All right, it's time for the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. We'll talk about the report that Washington will be parting ways with tackle Morgan Moses. We'll also talk about Ryan Kerrigan signing with the Philadelphia Eagles. And finally, we'll talk about the team signing safety, Bobby McCain. So Mo, Mo, it's on you. This is what I would typically do. With Mo, I'm passing it to you.
You better than me.
So,
here we go, man. So NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reported that the Washington football team is moving on from right tackle Morgan Moses. You got me all messed up today, man.
You good, bro?
Fellas, what are our thoughts on Morgan Moses being on the trade block? Big Doug, you are our guest. Go ahead, jump on
this.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Well, I'll say this. When I was talking to somebody that covers the team a couple weeks ago, and I thought maybe that they had plans on Sadiq Charles at left tackle. Then they bring in Leno. Keim says Leno came here specifically because he was told he'd have an opportunity to start at left tackle. Well, you don't draft a right tackle in the second round and not get him on the field. So that's what I figure is going on now. And Morgan Moses is $7.5 million and $9.5 million the following year. None of it guaranteed. Right. Let's not pretend that the money's guaranteed. If the money was guaranteed, they probably would have worked something out. I think this also says they're about ready to sign Jonathan Allen, right? They didn't cut him and save the 7.5 just for the sake of saving 7.5 because they're way behind. They're way underneath the cap anyway. So I guess that's my quick thoughts on that one.
Yeah, for me, it's just, it's hard to see a guy like Morgan Moses, if he's going to be gone and looks like he is. A guy who's kind of been dependable for this organization, this team. I've seen in the locker room, I said it before, a lot of fans get on Morgan Moses like, oh, he's this, that, he's not that good. But you got to see what the kind of injuries this dude is playing with. Like, he shouldn't be playing on Sundays in certain weeks. Like, he really shouldn't. And, when you see him get, fall down and you're like, wow, is Morgan Moses again on the ground? Like, dude is really hurt. Like, it's real. Like, he's really hurt. And every game you can depend on Morgan Moses trying his best to make sure he plays on any given Sunday or even a Monday or Thursday, whatever. But so to me, it's going to be hard to see it. For me, it's to see a guy who's that dependable for this franchise over the last some odd years, and not just being dependable because he's always healthy, but a guy who's ready to fight just to be on the lineup to kind of fight there with his brothers, his offensive linemen, his offensive mates. So I just hope, I hope fans appreciate that, because you get a lot of fans say, "Oh, Morgan is gone, who cares?" But the fact that you have a dude that is doing everything it takes to be on that football field to make sure he doesn't want to let down his teammates, that to me is a big quality in a player and in a person.
And you're right, he didn't miss games. I mean, you can count on one or two hands probably the amount of games that he didn't post throughout his career. And there's something to be said for that for sure. Yeah. And last to the holdover, right? Ron Rivera's in year 2 of his rebuild. We didn't believe in the rebuild because they went to the playoffs last year. But the man's been telling anybody that'll listen, they're in a rebuild. So getting rid of old tackles for $8 million is probably part of a rebuild.
No, I agree. So it's up to like you. So you mentioned like Sadiq Charles. So I may have missed it. You said Sadiq Charles would be moving to
guard. I guess they started in guard. Yeah, I had heard that they still thought he could play tackle.
Okay.
But when they brought in Leno, I think that kind of wrapped that up.
So is that a battle? So is that a battle with Flowers, or is that he's going to be penciled in as the starter off the depth chart because they got Flowers?
They didn't pay a lot for Flowers, and as you start listing the the names as we go through this episode, I think the one thing you realize, these guys they bring in, man, they get them for really good deals. The front office deserves credit for that. They cut Davis last year and gave him $5 million just to go home and not play safety. So the Flowers signing does not, to me, if they'd have given him Morgan Moses money, if he'd come in here for the $7 million that Miami signed him to the year before that, I mean, he's the starter at left guard. I wouldn't suggest that at $2.5 million or whatever they're going to pay him, that he beats out. So, I mean, I would think that you would want Sadiq Charles playing at some point. You drafted him and he's a young guy. So I would guess that if you're guessing, it starts out at Flowers, gets the first crack at left guard, right?
And to your point, it just is weird to me because Sadiq Charles was drafted and everyone was talking about how he touted he was going to be a tackle, and then all of a sudden now the talk is he's going to be a guard. Like I know he spelled he played some guard a little bit when once his rookie year, but then he got hurt. But that was because of necessity, and they just wanted him on the field. Now it just seems like, okay, now he's going to be the guard without even giving him a chance to play tackle.
Yeah, I'd be surprised, if they don't at least give him a chance. I think it'll be interesting this year. Schweitzer played really good at guard.
Agreed.
So, I mean, I don't know why it's just this given that he won't get the shot either. So, again, it's interesting, and it's why it makes sense that Morgan Moses is gone. Start listing off players that actually played well on the line last year.
Yeah.
And you'll find that you've got like 6 or 7 guys that played well, not great. That's the problem. We don't have any great offensive linemen other than Sheriff and Wole. I think we talked about this the other day.
Yeah.
I would be stunned if they had not tried to move him. I just don't think they've gotten the right price for him. So what's the point of getting rid of him? So
true. So on Twitter, we received a tweet about Morgan Moses. My man Jay Diller tweeted, 30 years old, coming off his best year. I like him, but now is the time to give most value for him, especially if the team wasn't going to resign him anyway. We have the depth to deal with this move. I believe. Again, I do believe they have the depth to move on. We've mentioned some of the players that they have, signed over the last signed and drafted. So they definitely have the depth to move on from Morgan Moses. I agree.
What does depth mean, Wole? What does depth mean? Sustained success.
I knew you're gonna say that.
That's what you get. But hold on, I'm not gonna go there right now. I promise you, I'm not gonna go there right now. But my question, real quick, and whoever wants to take it first, just jump right in. What does this really mean? I know that we're talking about a new regime and Ron putting his imprint on this franchise, on his roster, but are we looking to improve the running game, or is this all about keeping Fitz on his feet?
You want to go?
I think it's just a unique opportunity that a football team has stumbled upon with the addition of a former Pro Bowler in Charles Leno. And then you talk about you drafted Cosme. You drafted Cosme in the second round, left tackle in college. We know but projects better as a right tackle. So you already have a young guy that you like, but you brought in Eric Flowers, and you're going to give this young guy an opportunity because I guess you liked him so much last year that you put him on the field out of position. So he deserves the opportunity at the actual position or one of the actual positions that he played, right? So when I look at it in terms of the numbers, it's like, all right, we could pay this guy $16.5 million over the next 2 years. He's going to grow old into his 30s, or we can get these two young bucks prepared and get them some live reps while the line is still intact and decent on, on the weaker side of the line. Typically, the right side is the weaker side of the line, right? And plug in one of the new guys next to an all-pro and on the same side as Roulier, right? So I think they're thinking long-term with this. I think they want to get the young guys and get them some reps. If Cosme is who they think he is, or if they think Sadiq Charles is who they say he is, and made them jump out there and draft him, even though he was slipping because of some character issues. If they are who they say they are, then they're in a great position to have a starter out of one of those two guys, and then turn around and have a swing tackle to replace either or to play on either side if an injury was to arise. So I think it's a smart game plan. You save money. Like Big Doug said, I didn't even think about the John Allen angle. I think, it provides a little bit more cushion to make sure, because you have to think down the line, because then comes Deron Payne, right? Then comes, and you want to keep those guys. You definitely want to keep those guys. And then
who's the guy that played left tackle last year? His name
Lucas.
He played well.
Lucas played good too. He played well too.
Very interesting too. Cornelius Lucas, the backup to Leno 2 years ago in Chicago.
Yeah. So it's a good situation. I mean, he played well. He played better than what people thought. Again, like left tackle to me, as long as your quarterback isn't getting sacked every play, when you're up there and respectable.
But this team has been spoiled with left tackle.
That's what I'm saying. This is the problem. That's the problem. The fan base. And I said, like, the fan base.
Gotta move on. It's like John Wall. Gotta move on, man.
You gotta move on. Like, I agree. I think that's the problem with the fan base, is that when we judge, tackles, we judge them unfairly. We judge them from other individuals.
Chris Samuels. So I'll go from Chris Samuels to Trent.
Yeah, and then
to nothing.
Yeah, for real. Like, you're used to going from all pros to now, or
It's called a rebuild. It's called a rebuild, Mo. It's called a rebuild, baby. You can't have them dudes forever.
But I'm just talking about the fan base in general, though. Like, I'm just talking about
And I say this in the nicest way.
Sure.
The coaching staff is cocky.
Oh, very.
And we haven't had that in a long time. We have real teachers of football. And I would not be surprised if the offensive line coach said, listen, how great did Morgan Moses play before we got here? Because he had a great year last year.
Yeah.
So again, sell high, buy low, sell high. It's how you make money in business and everything else. It's the same reason that they find dudes that think they can play tight end. And the tight end coach says, no problem, Chief, I will get him worked up. And that's what they're doing. So I think it's the good arrogance of the coaching staff that allows them to make moves like this and say, hey, don't worry, bring him in, we'll coach him up.
And Big Doug, we've been trying to explain this to the lighter hue guy on the
I can't tell who you're talking to.
Yeah, the light skinned guy over there. We've been trying to get him to understand that sustain. No, Wole. I mean, we've been trying to get Wole to understand.
I mean, the darker skinned dude. Then you mean the darker skinned dude?
I'm saying nothing light about me, bro. The light skinned guy been trying to get Wole to understand. Right? We're trying to get Wole to understand that sustained excellence. Right? You want to make sure you have things in place so that when people get hurt, when things are not supposed to go right, you're still a competitive football team. And how do you do that? You actually coach. You actually get people in place that can do the job and then finish up. So I think that's what this is all signaling. I think that Ron Rivera and company come in. They trust what they trust what they're preaching, and they're getting the proper people onto this team so they can do it for the long haul. Not just
and Modi, your point, 17 games this year.
I'm saying it. Not just
17 games. It's
not just winning the division, not just winning the division, the worst division ever. You know what I mean? Like they actually want to do some things.
Yes, aspirations, championship aspirations, good stuff. Let's go to the defensive side of the football. You just mentioned getting the proper people on the field. If that's how you said, I'm paraphrasing, Mo. Washington football team sack leader Ryan Kerrigan signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. Apparently, some fans are upset about this. Before we go to how you should feel about it, I want to ask this question. Shout out to my girl, Diane Cheeseborough. She already know where I'm going if she's listening. Big Doug, would you put Ryan Kerrigan in the Ring of Fame as a Washington football team player with some of the greats, Gary Clark, to Brian Mitchell, to name a few, Joe Theismann?
Yes, I do. First off, if you're going to cancel Ryan Kerrigan for taking your job, just go cancel yourself, please. Like, I hate that. Please, jump off a cliff. But now, Kerrigan to me is, I don't know, the best player, maybe, of the Dan Snyder era. I mean, I guess Trent Williams is there just because he's still playing. But, it's really, tell me how many other guys played every game. I mean, how long was that streak? And what he posts 10 sacks a year. I mean, if your DN's posting 10 sacks a year, then good on you. I'll take him. So I think he'll always be underappreciated just because he lived in an era with JJ Watt, and guys like that were really the face of the league type guys. Ryan Kerrigan's not the face of the league type guy, but I'll take a guy that posts every week and get you double-digit sacks every year.
Yeah, you mentioned the Dan Snyder era. I think he's one of the longest tenured guys that was good in the Dan Snyder era, because I think about guys like Champ Bailey, who obviously didn't stick around, but was super talented, but he stayed through some tough times. And that's why I feel like he's so beloved amongst the fans, because when you go through these rough periods, you need those bright spots. Trent was definitely one of those guys, and so was Ryan Kerrigan.
Yeah, I agree. You know what, you made me think, Doug, because I used to be hard on Ryan Kerrigan a lot. I mean, very hard on him. But I think I was comparing him, like, to your point, I was comparing him to Von Miller. I was comparing him to, JJ Watt and guys like that. You know what I mean? Because they're games you'll watch.
And he's off like 20 sacks on them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even 20. It's not even 20.
Right.
He could get you a pick six too.
Yeah, and get you a pick six.
Tell that to me when you're done, Wole.
All right, yeah. So, I mean, to your point, yeah, I think I'm guilty of that. I can see that me being guilty of that. But just in terms of giving the man his respect and what he deserved, and to like the Eagles angle, like, you shouldn't be pissed at him. Like he's getting the job. He's going to get an opportunity to play football. I mean, it's like he's going to the Eagles. They're rebuilding anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And he's going to get an opportunity to play, multiple downs. In this situation, he wasn't going to get that chance here. And for Washington fans, you shouldn't even worry about Ryan Kerrigan. I mean, I'm going to say this again. You got Chase Young and Montez Sweat. There's no need to worry about Ryan Kerrigan. Let Ryan Kerrigan do him. If you're so obsessed with him going to the Eagles, you got a problem. You be happy with what you got here. What you got here are two stars, two young dudes could arguably be, the top tandem and defensive ends in terms of their potential. So be more concerned with that rather than focusing on Ryan Kerrigan going to the Philadelphia Eagles just to prolong his career and play football, like and try to provide for his family and himself. Like, get over it.
They think he's providing intel. They think he's going to give the game plans away.
Really, like,
just like Donovan tried to give away the game plan, but Michael Vick stomped right through that. So that's what you do. You still win. That's all it is.
Teams don't even. That doesn't really like the way Ron Rivera's like revamping the whole team. There's a bunch of new bodies anyway. He won't even know some of the little cues on what's what, man. I mean, I don't even look at it like that as a situation for him to impact this football team. Again, like, let him do him. He'll be okay. Hopefully you can get 10 sacks again if he gets the opportunity to play that many times. That may get that many downs or whatever. May not. But hey,
he may get 10 downs a game.
Hey, I mean, with the Eagles, you don't know. Eagles are trash, so he may get the opportunity.
All right, watch what you say. Y'all gotta play them twice.
I don't care. Like, that don't do that for me.
And look, it's been a discussion that Washington football team is only favored in 3 games. The betting lines this season, and it's all against NFC East opponents.
About to be hurt, man. They feelings about to be hurt. Hey, Mo, you got something to say, brother?
I'm just
let it happen.
To answer the question, is he in the Ring of Fame? Absolutely. All-time leading sack artist of the team, right? 95.5 sacks. The worst thing that happened to Ryan Kerrigan was he was drafted the same year as Von Miller and JJ Watt, right? You're talking about a 4.3 DN in college at Purdue. He's been playing out of system until last year.
That's the truth.
He's been playing out of system until last year. You're talking about a guy that made I think he made 3 consecutive Pro Bowls. Two seasons before 2 seasons ago, he had just came off a Pro Bowl in a 13-sack season, another 13 sacks. He had a 3-year run where he almost had 40 sacks in 3 years, right? You're talking about a guy that was just in the wrong era of defensive players and came out in the same draft as some of the elite. Before 2 seasons ago, he was 2 sacks off of Von Miller.
Right.
And then we know he's been out of scheme, right? They brought in multiple players in the same time to try to take this guy's spot to replace him. He's withstood them all. Starting with Preston Smith. Preston Smith came and gone. Ryan Anderson was drafted in the 2nd round from Alabama to be a pass rusher. Couldn't get it done. You got Montez Sweat in the 1st round 2 seasons ago. You got Chase Young last year, and those 2 guys are absolute studs, right? So he just couldn't get on the field with them. So you end up with 11 sacks in the past 2 years. When I look at him, when I think about him over the course of this last 2, this guy is a consummate pro. Like Doug said, he went 8 straight years, 16 games. So the streak was finally broke. Then he played 16 games again last year, without all the starts, but we know why, right? We know the influx of talent that's coming. He finally gets a 4-3 scheme, and now he's too long in the tooth to be the primary defensive end. And with the respect in regards to him, the organization had to do what they had to do, because the future is definitely on the team already. He had to do what he had to do in order to prolong his career, and hopefully he goes over there and he plays and he fills the role adequately, and he can continue on and get that 100 number, get over that 100 mark, and then he's going to be. People don't want to say it, but he's going to be a quiet Hall of Famer. He's going to be a quiet Hall of Famer, or you tell your kids that he's a very, very good football player. No. Right? At the very least, he was a very, very good football player.
And Mo, 2 things. Respect to the organization. Ryan said they told him from day one of the offseason, it's not going to happen. So fans thought I thought there was a chance too, but apparently they told him right away. And 3 teams offered him, from my understanding: Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and the Eagles. And to your point, Mo, the other 2 teams would have been back to the 34 for him, much better in a 4-3. So really, Eagles was it. So I mean, when the only team calling it works out for you, you take
you take it, man. Let him put his hand in the dirt and go play some football, man.
Right.
I guess
I'd rather have Smith Williams, and in fairness, now I'll get crushed for this. I'll take Smith Williams over Ryan Kerrigan today. Not for their careers, but today. I'm telling you, watch out for Smith Williams.
So we return to full capacity at FedEx. Hopefully they'll move eventually. It looks like the road is clear to get back into the district. You know what I'm saying? Some nostalgic moments we need for this franchise. But I'm not a fan of this football team. Would you boo Ryan Kerrigan when he comes back in the Eagles uniform? I personally would if I was a Washington football team.
You would?
Yes, absolutely. Because he's now on the other side. I'm not cheering that dude.
Oh,
I would cheer him when he comes back to go into the Ring of Fame, which I'm okay with, by the way. But when he lines up with that green jersey on, and Eagles fans, have you ever been around him at a game? No, sir. He's getting booed, son.
Well, they all get booed, though, right? You're not booing him strictly because he's Ryan.
When he checks in, yes, you are.
Booing him because he's got a green jersey on. I think.
Yeah, see, that's what needs to happen. Washington football team needs to the fans need to take a page from the new regime. It's over now. Listen, once you roll out, it's no more love. I wonder what B. Mitch would think, because everybody loved him. He comes back, he'll run back a punt.
Everybody loved B.
Washington football team. They're gonna cheer for him.
They're gonna cheer. Everybody.
No, sir, you can't do it.
Look, man. I mean, I don't think they should boo Ryan Kerrigan. I mean, you a little cold-blooded, bro. I mean, it's like for you, Atlanta fan, it's like Deion coming back to Atlanta.
Oh, of course, I'm not happy. And when he whipped Andre Rison, I was really mad. I tried to justify that Andre Rison won that fight, but when I'm there in person, TJ Duckett had a Washington football team uniform on, and I was mad. I was supposed to be impartial. You know what I mean? I'm a member of the media, right? I'm still angry. Listen, once you leave, it's over. Ryan Kerrigan, hey, we kumbaya later.
You know what I'm saying? I will say that, you know what I mean? I've seen many games of Ryan Kerrigan, not getting off a block, you know what I'm saying? So I could say that, you know what I'm saying, Washington, if that happens, I'm gonna be very happy. If let's say if it's Leno or Sadiq Charles or Cosme or whoever, if he doesn't go off the block, I'll be like, you see, I told you, Sweat should have been playing.
And then we'll boo him.
And then we'll boom. You know what I mean?
Sir.
But he'll get cheered at the end of the game. And he'll shake hands. That's the most important thing. It's not during the game, it's at the end of the game. Get your cheer at the end of the game. You know what I'm saying? When he's walking off,
They're gonna play a video for him. They're gonna give the John Wall tribute, right?
It's always coming back to the Wizards, dog. You
I
gotta
don't think
get
Ron's into giving tributes.
Look, man. Look, you gotta get over this John Wall thing, bro. You gotta get over
They
it.
won't leave it alone, Wole.
Twitter
They
needs
won't
to
leave
get
it
over
alone. They won't leave it alone, Wole.
Oh my gosh. Hold on, we're not gonna get on that because this is a Washington football team show. But last night, somebody put John Wall when it went out like that. Somebody tweeted that out last night, and that's where it started for me. But anyway, Ryan
Twitter,
Kerrigan, boo! I'm telling you now.
So on Twitter, we talked about how folks feel about the Ryan Kerrigan. What do they remember? Actually, let me get before I get into that. What's your biggest Ryan Kerrigan memory?
Are we really doing this? A tribute right now?
Yeah, we're doing a tribute, man. It's Ryan Kerrigan.
It's Ryan Kerrigan.
Ryan Kerrigan.
Right.
I'll tell mine.
Boo, boo,
Exactly.
boo.
Let's practice now. Let's get the people ready. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna take my opportunity to just practice booing with my mayor Ray. We're gonna harmonize the boo. Every time we see him, I'm gonna go low. He was gonna go high. We're gonna boo that man.
Let's do the
Boo
wave.
that
Do the
man
wave,
in
baby.
harmony.
Oh man, that's terrible, man. Nobody has it.
I'll go first because again, I'm putting it out there. I don't talk about it much, but I'm an Atlanta fan. And if you want to see some real, Ray analysis, Big Doug, come back when it's Atlanta week, because that's when I go in, because I don't have to be impartial no more at the time. But
my grandparents are from Georgia. I grew up a UGA homer, so I'm with you.
yes, sir.
No
That's what I'm talking about.
Love
So
Atlanta.
Ryan Kerrigan, actually, remember when the last time they played Atlanta here, was it? No. The time before that, RG3 was the quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Washington jumped out to a 10-0 lead because of him. He perfectly read Matt Ryan's screen pass, tipped it, took it to the house, and it just showed his capability, how fast he was, athleticism, what he could be. JJ Watt was known for that. Of course, that's who you think of when you think of that tip ball, pick six. Chase Young is that guy now, but it just shows you that he's in a discussion in terms of ability with those dudes. So I do got a lot of respect for Ryan Kerrigan. That's my memory.
Well, you got a Ryan Kerrigan. Or what do you remember most about Ryan Kerrigan?
I mean, that showstopper, baby.
Oh, that's Shawn Michaels.
That's
Shawn Michaels. Everybody love the Shawn Michaels.
I need that when he comes back. When he comes back to Landover, I need to see that at least 1.5 times that game. You know what I mean?
I need to play the Sensational Sherry joint, right? That song, you know what I'm saying?
He's got the Leave It to Beaver part in his hair, though. You ever catch him after the game? He looks harmless, but he's a beast, though. He was the face, man. He was on the Eastern Motors commercial for a minute, and he was on the game, the game day program too. Yo, Ryan Kerrigan,
I will say that he saved a lot of his best moments for the Cowboys.
Yeah, he sure did, though.
He sure did. He sure did save a lot of his best moments for the Cowboys. Tony Romo has nightmares about him and early Dak.
That's true.
I just want to see Chase do a couple of those next year when he gets his sacks against the Eagles. Go ahead and hit the Shawn Michael. That'd be great.
Oh man.
Ooh,
you know what I'm
let's
saying?
go.
That's, what I'm saying? Just sweet chin music. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? That's
sweet chin music.
Yo,
we're the band.
Remember, a running back. I'm not even gonna say his name. Went to the Cowboys. He did the swing in the end zone. Ryan Kerrigan's gonna come and disrespect. I ain't gonna say his name.
You trash. I know you're talking. You trash.
You already
you're trash.
Know. Hey, it
Sir Alfred. Sir Alfred, you're trash.
Mr. Morris went all through the NFC.
I know he went off.
A 1-yard Gerald Riggs touchdown, and you want to do a celebration?
Trash,
get out of here,
dude. You know, so what I remember about Ryan Kerrigan is just just being a guy that, just represented the brand well. Like, even though it's a losing franchise, when he was, during his tenure, but he was representing the team well. Never had an issue, was always there every day. Played football the hard way, play hard, man. He played hard. Regardless of whatever anybody thinks, he played hard. Sack leader of Washington football team, which is something that, he should be proud of, beating out the likes of like Dexter Manley, Charles Mann.
And he's not Blaine Gabbert. Remember, that was the pick that year. Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, Blaine Gabbert. Yeah, folks wanted Blaine Gabbert.
And then they traded down.
And to Mo's point, he played out of position, but he also play out of position because a lot of people did want him in the 4-3. And also, in terms of just being a big playmaker early, like he was getting picks. Early for this team. Like you saw that. Like I think his first game he had a pick six. I remember
he got a lot of those.
Yeah, his first game he had a pick six. So I mean, kudos to Ryan Kerrigan. Hope he enjoys Philadelphia. Go to Ishka Bibbles. It's a nice steak and cheese spot. Cheesesteak. What they say?
Sir.
Philly cheesesteak. I'm sorry. I'm too DMV. I'm too DMV, man. I'm sorry. I believe in Mambo sauce. You know what I'm saying? Going to the carry out, go to carry out and give me a cheese, a steak and cheese. Y'all know what it is.
Okay.
That's what we say. Ray, we acting brand new, Ray. We didn't say that back in the day, Ray.
No, you don't eat them no more. That's
I don't though. That's true. I don't. I know it's
Anyway.
true. I don't. It's facts. Hey, so we had a couple of tweets about Ryan Kerrigan at okay Ja 114 said see this in the ring. See him in the ring. Sorry. See, this is the thing about Kerrigan for me. For me, there's no one thing, no game, no moment or special move that stands out. Instead, for me, what stands out is knowing every Sunday that 91 was going to be on the field and in the backfield against opposing quarterbacks.
I know we went a long time where you couldn't buy somebody's jersey because you just knew they weren't going to make it more than a year. I know 91 was safe to bet on, every year. It's hard. I can't even get out the right words to explain what it's like to play that position and go that long. I don't know. Just give the man credit for being a real professional and playing for a long time for a shitty organization that nobody wanted to be a part of. I was a man that chose to be here, right?
Yeah. And look at the effects that it has on his counterparts. Von Miller has missed 2 major seasons, right? JJ Watt has missed multiple seasons.
Countless.
I mean, don't get me wrong. JJ Watt's incredible because of the numbers he still has and missing. He's missed about 40 some odd games in his career. You know what I mean? But it says it says a lot to his availability, being which we know is the best ability, durability, and just a professional, man. Just a professional.
To your point, Mo, I'd love to see the numbers stacked up without a name next to it because you're right. Those 40 extra games is a big deal.
That's a big deal, man.
So my man Amir on Twitter also tweeted about Kerrigan. In his first game, he had a pick six, so I was right. And number 2, no drama, all hard. He just went out and played football. So yeah,
a lot of players do well in their first
game. They didn't get no pick sixes of defensive end.
No, I'm talking. I didn't say that. I said a lot of players do well in the Washington football team uniform in their first game. I always think of Clinton Portis's first run.
Oh yeah,
in uniform versus
CP,
Tampa Bay.
That's my dude.
Touchdown.
In the club with Santana.
Right before
a couple hennies deep.
Right before Joe Gibbs ruined.
We too, man. So we saw them dudes. Ryan Kerrigan wasn't in there. I ain't never seen him out of town. Never saw him out in Arlington or nowhere, man. He never get the flip
that surprises me.
Oh man, you ain't. Hey, you're listening to All Burgundy Gold, Errrything with the Urban Sports Team right now. We are chatting with Doug, host of the Big Douglas Show. Mo, what's your question? You went, Mo.
It is, man. So, Big Doug, on our show last week, we talked about the signing of Charles Leno, right? Washington came back this week with the signing of Bobby McCain, another veteran. What are your thoughts on that signing?
I like it. I think I heard the deal's in for like $1.5 million, $2 million. So again, it doesn't to me mean anything. Those that follow me or listen to the show know that I am a Reeves fanatic.
Yeah, I love Reeves.
I am sure that he is the answer. I'm also sure that the defense next year looks weird, right? Like I'll tell you, 5.15 should not be out of the realm of possibilities for what goes on next year, and not in some weird 34 up front look. They've got a lot of safeties and they've got a lot of D linemen and they've got a couple of linebackers that are serviceable. So I would imagine that they try to find a way to get 3 safeties on the field a lot. So if that's Reeves, Everett, and McCain, if that's Collins and Curl, right? You still got Curl, so I guess Everett.
I got y'all gotta leave DeShazier Everett out of this conversation, man. Let that man play special teams and go about his business.
I agree, but he killed it at free safety last year. Tell
He
me
did,
you
though.
were
He played
not
well, man.
impressed
He was
by
knocking
the
folks
stats he
out.
got, and that wasn't at strong safety. Now that was at free safety.
He was knocking
So
folks out.
I was surprised. He's not who I want starting at any safety position. But again, I think it goes to the coaching, man. I think they feel like they can coach up whoever and get them out there. DeShazier Everett played free safety last year, and he did not stink.
I think that DeShazier Everett has had multiple opportunities at both spots, multiple years. I don't know what is not clicking for him. At a certain point, we're gonna let him be the great special teamer that he is and a quality backup and go about your business. He's not somebody I feel like you can count on, right? Like, we're looking at Bobby McCain. Kind of surprised me. Well, they brought that one to my attention, right? Was it a week and a half ago, right before Charles Reynolds signed?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought they was going to go with Trey Boston because of the familiarity. He's still out there. He caught a pick actually on the former quarterback last year. Before Ron was it last year? Yeah, last year. He caught a pick on them against the Washington football team, and he's been a constant for them in that scheme. Somebody that knows how they operate. I know Wole wants. I like the mention that you had of the 3 safety look. I think that makes a lot of sense. Take it back to my good old New York Football Giants Super Bowl run. You know what I mean? When we had Antrell Roll and Kenny Phillips and Deion Grant. You know, so I think it can work, especially because it's a 4-3 front and you have that explosiveness on the front line. And you do have a guy that can run sideline to sideline in the middle of the field now with Jamin in the middle of the field. I'm not opposed to that. I think you just touched on something that could really, really be a sub package that can cause another mismatch in the advantage for the defense.
No need for Earl Thomas now.
What? No, I mean, imagine this: the two ends, right? Chase Young, Sweat, Ioannidis, Payne, Jonathan Allen, Jamin Davis, Kendall Fuller, William Jackson, Reeves, Curl.
Bring Landon Collins down.
Sure. Mm-hmm. And you got this 5-1-5, and then you can drop an end from time to time if you want to into that linebacker spot. Both those guys are fast enough to fall. And Jamin Davis sideline to sideline. To me, the coach's job is to find a way to get all the best talent onto the field at the same time. And having one of those tackles rotating in is one way. Getting them all out there as much as possible is another way.
Is a better way. And there's no way Cam Curl is staying on the sideline.
Oh, he should be better now. He better.
No, he Wally picked Collins with a quickness. But you know why we know about Curl though is because they had 3 safeties on the field a lot last year. It wasn't because Collins was hurt early, because they were getting Curl on. They knew they had to find a way to get that kid on the field as much as possible.
He showed improved. I'm telling you. Whew.
Bobby McCain is versatile though. That's the dope part about him.
Yeah,
he can play the free safety. He can play the slide. He can play outside. Right. So you don't know where they're gonna line him up. Game planning for Washington is gonna be even tougher this year. Now think about how the defense improved almost by a touchdown. You gave up less points last season. Man, it's going to be scary this year. And it's a good thing because the schedule looks tough. I don't like looking at schedules because you could beat anybody every given week. You don't know what injuries are going to look like. Again, COVID just throws a whole wrinkle. You know, you hang out with your family for a birthday and then all of a sudden you're in protocols. So we don't know how the season's going to turn out. But one thing I can go off of is this team last season, out of all the franchises in the NFL, did the best in managing the COVID situation. I know Dwayne may have been on the list for a minute, but he never missed a game necessarily. He was active come game day. But when did Washington football ever have a COVID issue last season? Didn't happen.
They were the best, Ray. You're right.
So I'm thinking that's a positive going into this year. In addition to the fact that you bring in these excellent to me signings, I don't use that word lightly. I'm serious, man. I think Leno is dope. I love Boise State football players in general. I just think it's a great football institution. I'm serious, man. When you build up a small program like that. And then secondly, Bobby McCain, again, he's versatile. I love it. And I was campaigning for Earl Thomas, even with the issues, because you want to have depth at free safety. But hey, look, McCain can play all over the field.
Yep.
Great signing.
I think it's a great fit.
And it doesn't mean much, but they've got him listed as a corner right now.
And
And
that's
it's
what I was
to the
going to
point
say,
where
Big Doug.
he can play all over the place.
That's
yeah.
what I was going to say, Big Doug. And these guys is vouching for Jimmy Moore.
Jimmy is
He
starting
had
to
like
talk
the
about.
third highest PFF rate out of the slot.
Say it
Now,
again.
take
Say it
PFF
again. Hey, Doug, say that, Doug. Say it again. Say it again.
Third
Doug.
highest, take PFF how you like it. Third
Yes.
highest defensive.
Jimmy,
snap
right?
percentage.
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Okay,
Big
that's all I
Doug.
wanted to hear.
Big
He's
Doug, I
young.
know.
Jimmy's
Big
young.
Doug.
He's going to get better.
He's
every
getting
Big
better.
Doug,
Yeah.
I know, Big Doug, but I just don't like Wole likes to put part-time players in the same light as full-time starters.
I'm just telling you, Jimmy's he's a vicious slot dude. Jimmy, when he on the field.
I have not, Mo, I
Jimmy-
have not been high on Jimmy. Last year I wanted Fabian in whenever I could get him in
I
there.
love Fabian. Don't do that to me.
They refused.
I love Fabian.
Orland played well.
Yeah, he did.
No, I know.
I love Fabian.
Atlanta.
I know about
Is he down in
Jimmy.
Atlanta?
Atlanta. I think Fabian Atlanta, I think. Yeah.
I know
Hey,
about- I'm hip to Jimmy, man. Jimmy got soul. Jimmy got soul.
Yeah,
Jimmy was a victim of people watching preseason practices. Like, oh, he's going to be great. Listen, I told people years ago, don't feed into that, man. We can't do that. When the real games come around, that's when you step up. So he just fell victim to being an internet celebrity.
It wasn't even preseason, though, right?
It not an internet celebrity,
right? It wasn't even preseason, though.
It was like
training camp, bro.
Spring training.
Spring training.
It's training camp. You're right, exactly. But you know that's what we do. That's what Jason Campbell looked like a Pro Bowler every season. I'm not gonna go there. But listen, Wole, don't argue with Mo, because once Mo has his mind fixed on something, it's no bringing him back. Like Rui Hachimura, he texted, he tried to troll me about Rui all the time. He's doing the same thing to you. Don't buy into it. It's the same thing with Jimmy Moore. We know young talent when we see it. That going at Mo, and the production will come.
They got hurt. They got hurt when Rui got into foul trouble last night.
Thank you. Don't tell him that. And it was Doug. Were those fouls real? Those first two fouls.
Big Doug, all I'm saying is eventually, right? Eventually, we got to stop making the excuses for the player. Whether you're getting in foul trouble or you're not producing points, I don't get, Big Doug, I'm a high school football coach, right? I don't get infatuated with talent. I'll tell you why. Talent gets coaches fired. Talent gets coaches fired because if you don't produce with the
Scott
talent,
Brooks' coaching talent's going to get him fired.
Facts.
Players ain't getting Scott Brooks.
Thank you.
Don't tell me.
Scott
We're
Brooks
not going back.
gets fired because they left Tatum on
Indeed,
Russell
man.
Westbrook one-on-one all game, and somehow he couldn't find his way into the paint over a 6'8" guy.
See, Ray done opened a can of worms. I was going to bring it back. I was going to make an analogy to the Washington football team.
Okay, go ahead.
Ray, take it over, man. Ray, man, get us going back to football, Ray.
No, but all I'm saying is, if there's anybody that I'm going to have faith in terms of this franchise that's going to develop a young guy, it's going to be the current regime that we have right now. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Previous coaching staffs. Oh man, you had the worst defensive coordinator in Mineski, and for whatever reason, his job was safe. Sound like Scott Brooks, don't it? Maybe we can make that analogy and we can bring it all back together. But I do like Del Rio now. Mo, you've been the one that's gone on Del Rio and Ronville, like they've been fired. Remember you went on that whole rant about how they've gotten fired in the past?
Absolutely.
So I don't know if you agree with me on this, but again, in terms of the Washington football team recent history, because this franchise is still historic. When I say it's a trash franchise, it hurts my heart because I grew up here and we know that this franchise was actually a winning one at one point. Yeah. It's just been some bumps, and now they're taking the right steps. You know, we're gonna give them their flowers. Maybe we're gonna give them one flower. We're gonna give them one rose, right? To say you taking some steps in the right direction.
500 record.
Okay.
Give a flower.
All right.
I need over 500 record before I give a flower. I don't care about
that. That's fair, though.
That's fair. Look, now I'm gonna say this because we know we talk about tough schedules and whatnot. I will say this, you know what I'm saying? Ray said we talk about schedules, but I will take this defense against that schedule and say like it's gonna be a tough schedule, but they can compete with anybody with this defense. They can compete with anybody.
Well, if you saw, we did this the other day when we did the schedule breakdown. If you actually look at the over-under predictions on these things, I mean, never is Washington more than a 7-point dog. I think the biggest one is at Buffalo. I mean, they're not even a 7-point dog to Kansas City. And like 90% of them are all like this 2-1 point.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, that kind of shows you that even though they're down in most of them, I don't even look at that because when the point spread like 2 points for every game,
it's about even. You're pushing even, You're pushing even. So Like
and the defense, what the offense score last year? 19 points a game.
Yeah, should be better, right?
I
It
mean,
should be better.
We'll see. Scott Turner, I told you, Big Doug, the jury's out.
Yeah.
I know your man. I know your man Pooh. He sold on him. He is sold on Scott Turner.
the national guys are. That's why, because the national guys are pumped about what he.
They are though. You're right. They are.
I mean, they are. We talk to them all the time, and they say, "Look at the usage on these players."
He bought himself another year at the very least, because and an attachment to Russell.
So attachment to who?
To Russell.
Oh.
Who's
the
the
Russell?
attachment to Russell?
Which Russell?
Did we switch back to the Wizards?
No, we're talking about Wizards. We talking about.
I was talking about Scott Brooks bought himself another year because of the.
Oh, we talking about Scott Turner.
Oh my goodness!
I was like Russell. You said
no, and Scott Brooks has not bought himself another year. Don't even. Yeah.
Yo,
listen, we do got you brought up a good point. We got some bad Scots right now. Hopefully Turner will bring himself out of that. No, I'm gonna give him a pass. He's still early.
The offense looked good last year. They had 4 quarterbacks that played.
He overcame a lot. And he had Dwayne too. In the running game, I think
could be better.
4.3 yards to carry ain't bad considering what you was dealing with.
Well, you can run the ball though. I mean, my thing is that if you're running well, like you can't continue to run the football. Like I'm just saying, like you're right. 4.3 yards is good, but like
from a guy that hasn't played running back much.
I know what I'm saying, but all I'm saying is that if my back is averaging 4.3 yards a carry, I'm thinking, maybe I should give him about 20, like give him 20 carries, like I can't stop before I stop at 10, because Turner would stop at 10. Dude could be going good. Then he said, you know what? I want to throw the football with Kyle Allen because I want to showcase Kyle Allen like he could throw the football. So I'm just saying,
I don't have the numbers on me. Check what Antonio Gibson was going to do before he got hurt.
Yeah,
extrapolated out. He could have been offensive rookie of the year last year till he got hurt. What, in week 11?
Yeah. I would like I will say, but what I say about Gibson is that I do want to see more from him as a running back, because I mentioned this before on the show, is that I can name you 3 games where he got busy, and it's two of them, 2 games were against the same team. The Cowboys twice,
obviously,
and I want to say he got busy against the Bengals too. I think he got busy against the Bengals too. But I want like the Bengals. Yeah, I want to see him do that, because when we talk about stud running backs, right? And I don't put this on him. I do put this on like offense philosophy. It's like they're gonna have to find a way to mix everything in. Both parties got to work together to get him to his peak. But I do want to see. I want to see where he's playing a tough defense and he's getting busy. Like, I don't want to see him getting busy against bad defense. I saw him get busy against bad defenses all the time.
Well, they said he wasn't good at finding the hole last year.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't.
He's got to work on that.
So Doug, I don't like the gadget plays. That was my issue. Sometimes I feel like the offense will actually be moving.
Plays. Everybody loved Ray's the get off my yard guy. Everybody loves gadget plays. I mean, literally everybody is saying, give me more gadget plays so I can look like Kansas City. Ray's over here talking about, I hate gadget plays.
For the Washington football team, I feel like you moving the ball, you get in the red zone, and all of a sudden you're doing like an end around.
Oh my God, like
I'm with you there.
That blows me. That blows that blows me.
That's what I didn't understand.
Sometimes these guys can outsmart themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, seriously, it's a problem, but.
Old school, baby, post corner. Malcolm Kelly, bring it down. Yes.
You said Malcolm Kelly? Oh, you a jerk for real, dude. You said Malcolm Kelly, dog? You a jerk.
Malcolm Kelly couldn't catch the post corner, baby.
That was I thought he was going to be such a stud. Never mind. I ain't messing with you, man.
If only him and Fred Davis had panned out, what could have been.
And Devin Thomas.
Well, I knew Devin Thomas wasn't
going to pan out.
I knew he wasn't going to pan out.
Michigan State, baby.
Like, I knew he wasn't going to. I watched Devin Thomas play. He wasn't going to. I watched him play.
Oh, yeah. You're a Big Ten brother. You're a Big Ten.
But I knew Malcolm Kelly could have panned. If he just could have stayed healthy, he would have panned out. Like, I'm confident in that.
Josh Dotson was better than Malcolm Kelly. Putting it on record.
What? Played more. He played. I mean, he played more.
I mean, if this is really what we're comparing,
I know it's terrible. This is terrible.
Both those guys.
This is terrible.
Hey, I'm glad we got Julio and Ridley for my team.
Hey man, shut up, dude. Hey, Doug, man, thanks for being on the show. Let our listeners know how they can find you on social media and anything you want to plug.
Fellas, thank you for having me. This was a blast. I could have done it for another hour. It's there. It's at Big Doug Show on Twitter. Check us out. It's at Big Doug Show on Instagram, and
Following you now.
the Big Douglas Show on YouTube.
Hey, make sure you, again, on Twitter, again, make sure you follow my man Doug at Big Doug Show. Again, at Big Doug Show. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Search all Burgundy and go everything with the urban sports scene. Also, tweet us at Urban Sports Scene and hit us up on our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. As Doug said, it was a blast. We could have did this for another hour for real. And appreciate everybody for listening. You've been listening to All Burgundy and Go Everything with the Urban Sports Scene on Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, 4 ages. Yeah, dig. Deuces. A mega. Lead us out, big homie.